What's up, everybody? Welcome out.
What's
6
up?
o'clock live stream. Unfortunately, I had all intentions on talking about the show in Philly this weekend, I should say. And I don't know, man. It's a sad day in tattooing, that's for sure. And you know, I just don't even know what to say. I kind of was in shock, to be honest with you. I woke up, started going through my Instagram and some of my other stuff,
That's what I saw.
and the first thing I saw on my Instagram page today was the, you know, message, about Jack passing away. Um, you know, uh, I think there was a lot of questions about, hey, what happened? Blah blah blah. Um, I did see that Good Time Charlie posted about him dying in his sleep. So, I guess if you gotta go, that's the best way to go, right? Wasn't like a, you know, long disease and, car wreck or something horrible. It was just the dude died in his sleep, man, and it's, it sucks, man. I mean, look, I only met him once. He was super nice to me, couldn't have been any nicer. Um Towards the end of our conversation, we talked a lot about the Tattoo Heritage Project, which, was a huge passion of his at the end. Him and Good Time Charlie, and there was a few others involved with that. Um, they were like, super laser focused on that. And, it's just a sad day for tattooing. And I think it's one of those things where I talk about this a lot on this channel where I always talk about trying to reach out to the older generation tattooers and stuff like that, you know, we always wanna, you know I wanna make an effort anyway to reach out to those tattoo artists, try to talk to them. If I can get an interview, I will, because of exactly stuff like this, you know? Um, the dude was a tremendous, uh, you know he's the GOAT. In a lot of people's minds. You know, he took tattooing. Him and Good Time Charlie took tattooing and the style of the Chicano style of tattooing to a whole new level. The whole black and gray, the fine line. Those guys were the dudes that you know brought it into the limelight,
Absolutely.
made it what it is today. So it's a sad day for sure. Totally bummed out. Again, I mean, I'm not, I wasn't friends with the guy. I only met him once, but he's super nice to me. And I got to tell you, the amount of love that I saw today on Instagram from different tattoo artists that were friends with him or knew him, um, man, huge loss to uh, the world of tattooing.
Absolutely.
And as you can see, Justin is back. He's still not 100%. Um, I just wanted to take a moment to pull a picture up of Jack. And then we're going to spend a lot of time today talking about him, talking about his career. We're going to talk about some of the other stuff that, he was passionate about. Tattoo Heritage Project was one of them.
Beatniks,
The Beatniks,
Car Club.
the car club that he was actually the president. I don't know if he was up until, yesterday. Um, but, you know, uh, he, he's one of those guys that when you think tattooing, he kinda covers, all of it. Uh, he was into hot rods and, the guys that were in the hot rod club, from what I understood, had to be tattooed, had to have a hot rod. Um, you know, uh, he lived it and breathed it, and, you know, it sucks.
One of the nicest pieces that I ever saw that Jack did was, he did these elongated hot rod flames from one of those guys' wrist to basically the elbow. And, in its simplicity, it's really difficult. You know what I mean? Like, you can it's easy to mess up that tattoo. And, the flames were done in negative space, and the gray was just so soft and so, like, so velvety.
Yeah,
Just, I mean, Los Angeles tattooing,
right,
Jack Rudy.
right. Um,
Here, let me move my apple slices.
yeah, I'm actually gonna read in a little bit here. Good time Charlie, what he posted today. Freddie Negretti posted a really like heartfelt post. Um, you know, um, I don't know what else to say other than it sucks. Um, Yesterday I was at the Philadelphia Tattoo Expo convention, whatever the hell you want to call it, monstrosity. It's so huge, so big. It's a lot,
So
and
next year, right? I keep saying I'm going to do this every year, but next year, you and I, we rent out 2 booths, put comfortable chairs in there, $20 for 10 minutes.
yeah,
Like
I think it would be a
like right in the middle. Open a
sell like
club.
hotcakes
Open I
because there's
mean,
nowhere to sit.
yeah. Like imagine if like halfway, you'd come to like a booth like that. Oh, $20, you get 15 minutes.
So before we get any further, let me just I
Always thinking this guy.
I want to make sure that I read this before I forget because I thought this was really cool. And you know, so this was posted today by Good Time Charlie. Apparently, he got the phone call today, and this is what he wrote. It is with some degree of shock that I received word about Jack Rudy's death. I'm thankful to the Good Shepherd that he didn't suffer from with disease and a tragic accident or pain of some kind. Thanks to God for the mercy and grace he gave Jack to let him leave this earth in his sleep at home with his wife. It's hard for me to believe he beat me to heaven. I thank God for Jack's life. He was allowed to share his talent with the world and keep my name out there. He was a great friend to me for more than 50 years, and I'm real proud of him and his contribution to the art of tattoo. As he was more than my apprentice, he was more like my son. He will be missed by many. Our thoughts and prayers are with Carrie and crew. See you later, homie. See you in a better world. So, I mean, to me, when I think Jack Rudy, I always put him with Good Time Charlie.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't. It's kind of hard for me. Might be different for other people out there, tattoo artists and whatnot. Um, or people that knew both of them. But for me, it's hard for me not to think about them together. Is what I mean? Like always being together and stuff like that. And you know, uh, wow, that was weird. All of a sudden, our audio shut off out of nowhere. Um, yeah, so it's one of those things where I was thinking of those two being together, and then I think about um like when I did the Bob Roberts episode and they were, I read about how Bob and Ed Hardy, um, saw their work at, I think it was at the Houston convention, and they were so floored by it that they went out of their way to make a pilgrimage to go see Jack and Good Time Charlie up at Tattoo Land, to learn how to do the black and gray work and stuff like that, because they were just like, it was, to them at the time, they were like, it was the coolest thing they had ever seen. And, you know, those two guys really, they didn't create it, but man, did they own it.
Absolutely. And then
Owned it.
there's this thing with Judy and Rudy, excuse me, with Jack Rudy and Negrete when they worked together, how they pushed each other. Like every time that Jack would do a tattoo that Freddie thought was sick, he'd like try to not do a better tattoo, but like add another nuance or add another subtle variation. And they were artists together that fed off of each other, each one pushing
Right.
the other to do
Right.
better art.
Yeah.
And can you imagine, Buck, like you're talking about the Philadelphia convention yesterday, right? Can you imagine working in East LA in the 70s and 80s?
No.
Like Charlie and, not to be weird or whatever, but Charlie and Jack were white boys down the oh, Fargan, down in the Fargan hood. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, there was a shotgun underneath the counter.
Yeah, well, I think that I read that they were, because they were, involved with that culture and stuff like that. They
They had
were they
respect.
were respected, and their parking lot was off limits. It was neutral territory. There
Like a
was no,
DMZ.
yeah, like there was no, they didn't deny that there was stuff that ever popped off there, but for the most part, man, it was like those guys, everybody in the area knew that that was not the place to be jacking off.
Right, right. So if two different
Jacking off's probably not a good term, but you know what
so
I'm saying.
yeah, if two
What the
different
fuck,
crew
dude?
if two different crews from two different sets showed up to get tattooed,
Yeah.
they would just either they would
Yeah, like the other set would leave and come back, or
yeah,
I mean, I highly doubt that somebody would be sitting in the same room together. But hey, who knows? We weren't there, right?
we weren't there.
Um,
We were in similar places, but we were not there.
yeah, I know that there was a lot of respect for both of those guys. And Jack. When I was talking to him down in Norfolk, he was really, really focused on the whole tattoo heritage project. Um, he had a box out in front of his table, for donations to it. I know they have been working really, really hard to try to get that going and get that, moved forward to a permanent museum where tattoo history could be shown every day, and it would stay permanent, and it would be a building that was permanent. And
You mean like permanent?
well, so look, I'm emphasizing the
I know.
word, but
You're playing.
think about it, dude. Did you ever think that Hanky Panky's shop or his tattoo museum would have shut down?
No.
I mean, dude, from what I understand, Hanky Panky's museum was like perfectly curated, broken into rooms and the whole kit and caboodle. Who'd have thought that that would have ever shut down? And we are talking about California, right? Where they like to gobble up, land and other stuff, and you know, close it up and put something new in. So I think that that's why they were focused on that. It was all about like, uh, I don't want to say I said to him, well, why California? But I don't, because I know better than to say that to
Right,
him.
right. Yeah. Why LA, bub?
But he was like, he said something to the effect of, um, well, you know, it's near the Pike where it should be. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, what I mean, like at no point did I question it. I just was like, I can't even remember what I said, but he was like, "It's gonna be, at the near the pike or where it should be." Meaning like, you know, East Coast guys, you had your chance and you But this whole thing today, waking up to this reinforces, like, not only what I'm doing here on this channel, but even the fact that I got tattooed yesterday by Ronnie and Marvin Moskowitz, because I'm on this mission because I know that there's some of these older guys, their time is, you know,
I mean, really, I mean, Bob Roberts, Tuttle, Hardy's in terrible shape, right?
yeah,
No disrespect, but he's like,
he's not doing good.
he's not doing good. Now Jack Rudy.
Right.
Yeah, it's a whole generation.
I mean, even for Good Time Charlie to say in that post, who would have thought that you would have made it to heaven before me? You know what I mean? That's I read that and I was like, "Oh," like that kind of hit me. Mm. Nick, our moderator Nikki made a good point.
Uh-huh.
She said, "Might be a good thing he didn't get it completed, seeing how Los Angeles has been on fire for a week." Yeah, I mean, it's nowhere near probably where it would have been, but that is a valid point.
I mean, it is terrible that Paris Hilton lost one of her homes.
Jesus, dude. So Scott Force made it in. He, longtime listener, and he was like, he sent me a message last week, I think. Hey man, how do I get on the comment? And I was like, well, where are you watching? And he goes, I watch it on the TV. I go, well, you got to do it on your phone or something. He was like, I'm an old guy, man. I don't know how to do all that crap. So he got his shop helper,
Nice.
whatever, to hook him up, and he's in chat. So what's up, Scott? So, do you have any cool Jack Rudy stories?
I do actually.
Okay.
I do. Ah,
How do we look, by the way? I mean, the setup.
60 pounds later. Just saying.
Justin's. Yeah, man. Look how skinny he's getting, dude.
Buck's like 15 pounds later.
Yeah, I got a long ways to go, dude.
What are we gonna do?
My 15 pounds is like throwing the deck chair off the Titanic, dude.
What are we gonna do if we're not
Means
fat guys
absolutely
anymore?
nothing.
Two former fat guys in a tattoo shop?
Two chubby guys in a.
Two chubby guys.
Because there's no way I'll ever be skinny. It's just not gonna happen. But
So I was at the Hot Rod Tattoo Convention in Long Island. Jack was there with Shu, I think. My condolences to Shu. If you're in the Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania area, Shu was tight with Jack Rudy. They were tight. And I was getting food. And you got to bear in mind, dude, that like when I would see guys like Jack and Lyle and any of them people, I'd get a little fanboy.
okay,
because I'm like reading about him in magazines. And there's like, I don't know, weird. I get fanboy, right? So I'm like, Jesus, where's the ketchup? And I hear this guy behind me say, if it was a snake, son, it'd bite you. And I turn around, there's Rudy. He's like pointing at the ketchup. It's right in front of me. And I talked to him. I actually got tattooed at Shu's shop, and I talked to Jack about getting some work done from him. But by then, even in the 90s, he was pretty, you paid, obviously.
right.
And I really wasn't into anything that he probably would have wanted to give me. I do have a couple sets of his flash. I have a piece of his original art, a bunch of the T-shirts that he designed. That's the one I got there.
Okay.
But never get any kind of gastro-surgery ever.
You didn't have a choice, dude. It was your gallbladder.
Yeah. So there's a sheet that Good Time Charlie made that is about, I'm going to say 2 feet by 4 feet of just small single needle pieces, and I always thought that sheet was excellent, basically a poster.
Mhm.
And, like I said before we went on, there was a sheet that Jack made with, like, all these, like, Buck Loves Midgets. Or are we allowed to say midgets?
Little people.
Buck loves the horizontally challenged. So it was like there's a sheet with like little cholo dude, little Viking dude, little biker dude, you know what I mean? But the weird format of it was that it was long. It was 2 designs and about 10. It was a horizontal sheet. It was nice. A lot of that stuff is in books, in my books and stuff like that. I do
Uh,
in what do you call it? And this, not that anybody's gonna be able to see it, but I have a dragon here that I got at Jim's Tattoo in Seabrook. It was the first tattoo that I got in a shop that was of any what do you call it? That was a righteous tattoo, and it's Jack Rudy design.
yeah, well,
How much you think this thing cost me in that blue dragon, 1980, 88, 89?
$200.
$200.
You gotta remember, I started around that time, so
$200.
that's I was keen to the prices because I couldn't afford anything.
Yeah.
I was, I also got a text message today from, um,
Ah,
um,
our moderator was 10.
I got a message today from RC, who is really good friends with Jack. And, he was shocked to hear about it, and, he asked me how, did I hear anything about, what happened, and I said I didn't at the time. And, RC was really good friends with him, to the point where I guess he not RC not only went out to see him a couple times, but he also came to RC shop a couple times,
Nice.
sat in and tattooed and stuff like that, and, they were pretty tight, and, you know RC actually was the one that said, "Hey, man, if you see Jack at the Norfolk Tattoo Convention, tell him to, drop my name and be like, 'Hey, you're friends with me,' or whatever." And, you know, I said, "Yeah, yeah, that's cool, that's cool." So, he actually did post some really cool pictures today, um, of, I guess, Jack spending time at the shop and stuff like that. Um, you know, it just sucks, dude. I think that was pretty loud bang, dude, like, and now I'm hearing sirens.
Car crash.
Probably. Okay. Anyhow, um,
Maybe a car into a telephone pole.
I don't know, man. I
That
don't
didn't
the
that
Eagles could have won by now, and they could be causing a ruckus, so I'm not sure.
is
I
that the game with home runs?
yeah, no, it's not. Um, there is a post though that I wanna try to find it real quick if I can because, um, I think it's, you know, another dude that to me, when I think about, Jack, I also think about this guy as well, along with Mark Mahoney. Um, Freddie Negretti made a post today. He said, my God, I feel like a part of me has been forever lost. My best friend in life and this industry. He brought me into tattooing, mentored me, taught me, guided me through my darkest moments. Jack Rudy is a towering leader in our industry, doing more for tattooing than any one man ever. Rest in peace, my brother. God bless you. Uh, God bless you, Carrie Coolsville. That's Jack's wife. Uh, there was no Jack without Carrie, and he let that be known. We all thank you and look up to you for making his life so rich and fulfilling. January 26th will forever be Jack Rudy Day. Damn, Jackie, we love you so much. So the outpouring that's going on right now is
Did Shane post anything?
Enholm.
Yeah.
Um,
Or did his
I think he tried to, but he's on some type of
yeah.
uh ban at this point. Um, you know, we got a couple people in today though that so Bill O'Connell just said I met Jack in Phoenix, Arizona convention, New Year's 1995. He came up to me and talked about my sleeves that had just been finished by Bill Clayton 6 months prior. So, um, you know, he said he was a really nice and friendly guy. The tattoo community changed today. It
Yeah.
did. It did definitely change. Um, I don't know. I kind of was a little nervous to walk up to Jack. He looked, he had that look,
Yeah.
a little bit like abrasive, like,
OG, man.
yeah, exactly.
OG.
But
Chin up,
to me,
shoulders back.
right, right, right. But to me, those are the type of people I grew up with. So that was just my like, okay, man, these are just like anybody else that you knew. Um, you know, take away the being a famous tattoo artist. Um, he's just an OG, just like some other dudes that you grew up and were around.
You know, not to cast stones at anybody, right? But do you think there was any reaction today in Philly at the convention?
Yeah.
How many people do you think were down there yesterday? As far as
Um,
artists?
artists
Yeah.
is easy 800, possibly 1,000. All
So
I know was before I know you're gonna. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. All I know is at one point yesterday when I was walking around and I didn't even make it all the way around because by the time I got done getting tattooed by Ronnie and Marvin, uh, and then I was walking around, it was like blistering hot in there, and then I was just shot out. I bounced around to a couple people that I knew were gonna be there, and I missed more than a handful of people that I'm friends with that I wanted to meet up with, and I didn't get to see them. But where I was going with that is, in the Philly convention, there is a main aisle that goes right down the middle. Then there's end aisles, and then there's the bob and weave, back and forth, right? There was a whole row. I'm not talking about half of a row. I'm
wall to
talking
wall.
about both sides. Every one of those people were hustle butter tattoo artists. They all had the same red hustle butter emblem and then their name. So, man, hustle butter spent some money to pay for those booths. Um,
Was it the Chicano aisle? I mean, there is an aisle at the Philadelphia convention where you actually feel like you enter into East LA.
I think there was. You know what? To be honest with you, like I said, I didn't make it the whole way,
I mean, I
so
think there would be,
there probably was.
yeah,
I did get to meet a really good,
there would be a sense of
cholo
loss there.
artist that's from Vegas, man. Apparently he was friends with Marvin and Ronnie, and he introduced himself, and he was super cool, man. Like totally nice guy, and he he was like, "Yo, brother, he had that talk, right?" And he was like, "You're out in Vegas. Hit me up before you come out, bro." He's like, "We're hanging. You're gonna hang at my shop, man. We'll even do the interview if you want. Whatever you want to do." And he was like, um, apparently he's got a pretty big shop, and it's pretty, like even the booth he had was pretty big, right? The dude's name was Tone Chingam. He owns Americana Tattoo
That sounds
in
familiar.
Vegas, and dude, he had a murderer's row of Cholo Chicano artists, dude.
Right.
Man,
Just top tier killers.
dude, murderer's row, man. Like every one of them guys if they were at another convention. Is it cutting out? Okay. Dude, they
So if they were at another convention,
they would have won best black and gray. You know what I mean? It's the talent from those guys is amazing.
absolutely.
Every one of those guys, man. The whole, you know, I almost feel weird calling it Cholo, but the Chicano, Cholo, whatever you want to call it, man. Black and gray. Almost every one of those guys is top tier, dude. Like when you see them in Philly at that when they get that whole row together,
Hmm.
I don't know, like they gotta be battling for people because every one of them dudes is amazing. And you know what? They owe it to Jack and Charlie.
Jack and Charlie, yeah.
Can't say any more than that. I mean, that's mad respect. Bottom line. Um, yeah, I don't know, man. If they didn't do any kind of I don't know, like I don't want to say like a moment of silence or
That's what I
whatever.
was wondering if Troy did a moment of silence.
I would assume they did, dude. There's no way that they didn't do anything. And to be honest with you, I didn't really talk to anybody today that was there. Um, I did send a message to one of the dudes, but I didn't really talk to anybody today. So I don't know. But I would assume that they did, man. I don't know. Before we get into some more of this, I want to give props to the people that are hanging out with us tonight. We got our moderator, Nikki. We got Bill O'Connell, Tom from the UK, OG Sarah from Canada, Drag over there in Spain, Scott Force. I think Scott is down in North Carolina. Voodoo is happy from Pennsylvania. And I think that's it. Oh, yeah, Lauren, what's up? Hello from here. Hello from Kansas City, friends. A little late, but glad to see you all in the same room together on such a sad day, Rip Jack. Yeah. Um, we won't be doing any more of the separate. We'll be back in the shop full time as long as there's no health incidences or. Oh, thank you, sir, so much for the $5 super chat. Much obliged. There won't be any more remoting in for Justin and us unless it's some kind of
Yep, they won.
so the Eagles must have won because now there's fireworks and bombs and all kinds of stuff going off. Scott said, "Now that's a Chicano Lane, and it is so beautiful." Yeah, yeah. What's up, Fat Cracker? He's hanging out with us tonight
That's a Chicano
from
lane.
Shake City. Yeah, he's talking about like the rows of the Chicano artists. Yeah, man. Killer rows, man. So let me say something. There was a lot of amazing artists there yesterday. I don't know how you could have really picked and choosed between getting one person to do a tattoo for you than another. The talent is amazing. Is it necessarily what you and I dig? Majority of it probably not. But there were, believe it or not, there was a good amount of American traditional artists there yesterday. So it was cool to see. Yeah, what's up, Gibby? Gibby from Conquest hanging out.
Hey, Gibby.
Legend lost, Rip Jack. Yeah, brother. Yeah, Gibby.
Oh.
Rocking your yeah, so you know, hopefully, maybe now, if they do complete the Tattoo Heritage Project in the building and stuff like that, then, maybe, Jack gets a wing or in the museum or the building's named after him or something. I don't know, man, but it would be kinda cool to give him a little bit of honor that way.
So
Um,
we were speaking of hustle butter, man. We were talking yesterday about when the money infiltrated the industry,
yeah.
right? It must, like, without a doubt, there's people that are being backed by like serious cash. There's corporate interest in tattooing now, and like that's a huge change. That's a huge and I mean, I think that that's what the villain arts. What?
Your mic's too far away.
Ah, I think that that's what the villain arts tattoo conventions represent more than anything else. They represent corporate influence tattooing. And I've been tattooed by Troy more than once. And I don't think that I'm saying anything that if I said this to him, he would disagree with me.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
It's funny because when I walked in there yesterday, after I got through showing my ticket or whatever, and I was right at the front, Troy happened to be standing there. And I walked up to Troy
You
and I was
punched
like,
him?
No, no." I said, "Hey, Troy, Buck from Tattoos and Review, man. I do tattoo history and interview tattoo artists." And I was like, "Where'd you put all the old guys at?" And he laughed and he was like, "Oh, they're over there in the corner." Because they had like Jackie Grisham, um, Ronnie, Marvin. I Off the top of my head, I really don't know, too many other ones that were uh anyway, um, so I kind of went straight for that area first because those are the guys that I wanted to see. And then I had other people that I wanted to see there as well. I tried to talk to Joey Knuckles, but he was on a smoke break when he had just got done tattooing. And I sat there with a little bit for what is one of the dudes from the shop. And then I hit him up today and was like, "Hey man, I was waiting for you, dude, but you're on a smoke break, so I'll catch you in Columbus because I'm gonna make a road trip out there." But uh, I don't know if you can see it or not, but Justin's rocking a Jack Rudy shirt today, and so am I actually. The one I just got off of him at Norfolk. Um, so um, I just I thought we had plans tonight.
I'm dying to talk about the other thing.
Yeah, we were going to talk about the anesthesia death from tattooing, and you know I don't really know who the influencer was, but apparently he had a huge following. And all I know is I did an episode about anesthesia tattoos probably 6 months ago. And in that video, I made a point of saying that um, it's something bad's going to happen with that. Um, Not everybody can handle anesthesia. There's a reason why people get turned down for surgeries because they're not, maybe healthy enough or they got issues and they can't handle anesthesia. I don't know of any of that. I know nothing about the process of getting an anesthesia tattoo. I don't know if they do any kind of background on your health or any of that other stuff. But
I mean,
dude,
they would have to do blood. They would have to do blood work,
I would
and
think so, right?
yeah, they would have to do standard medical tests.
But the thing is I called it over 6 months ago and I said there's gonna be a fatality with this. And if it does happen, is it gonna be the end of that anesthesia industry? I don't know if it will be.
I don't think so.
So Drag is saying it in Brazil it was. So the dude was from Brazil. He died on Monday, I read. And apparently this dude was like a big time influencer type of guy, like the typical guy that you would see on Instagram with like leaning up against $100,000 car, rocking like, Rolex watches and gold chains and diamonds and all kinds of stuff. And so that was his deal. Um, he went in to get a full back piece done under anesthesia and died. I don't know the circumstances. I don't know what necessarily happened, but um, I might actually do a little digging around and see if I can pull off like a full video this week to talk about it. Just on the because I want to have the details and I really want to dig into it to understand it. Um, so you know, it's to me, it's crazy.
I mean, it's just a wild juxtaposition to me. Like, talking about Jack, talking about that school of tattooing, East LA, 70s and
Yeah, we
80s,
took a big swing.
right?
We
And
went
then,
from like old school traditional
right,
to
like
anesthesia tattooing.
guys sitting in a shop getting tattooed with like a single needle. You ever been tattooed with a single needle?
Yes,
It sucks.
yes,
It sucks. If anybody's never been tattooed with a single needle, I much prefer like a nice thick 9. But, taking it, earning it, right? Earning it, earning their chops,
yeah.
and now we're, you fast forward, like, I mean, when I see people getting tattooed on Instagram now, it's always the numbing cream is the first step and the time lapse tattooing stuff. And it's just like it has no value.
Do you know what was crazy was yesterday, immediately when I walked in the door, I don't know what the company was, but they were handing out, uh, uh, and then telling you where their booth was for numbing cream. It
Nice.
was the first thing, like, soon as you walked in, that guy was standing there, like, handing out and then telling you, "Oh, we're over there," and I was like, "Nah, I don't need that, dude. I'm good. Thanks." You know what I mean? Like,
Wild.
I mean, it is what it is, dude. You gotta use it, you gotta use it. But as far as the anesthesia thing, you're playing with fire, bro.
But do you think it's all symptomatic of the same mindset? Like I want to look a certain way without paying the consequences of looking like that.
Yo, we got, thank you, Bill. Your $5 super chat.
I mean, and I think it's, well before tattooing, liposuction, right?
Yeah, people were getting
Getting your butt
fat sucked out of them to make themselves look thinner and whatnot.
getting your butt lifted, getting your lips injected.
Dude, you imagine I they would fill a goddamn oil drum with all the fat. Dude, I'd be in some serious pain, I'm sure, man.
Dude, we can make sandwiches out of it afterward.
Woo! Some good old beef tallow. Um, I don't know,
Make
man.
like bricks out of it.
I think that, I think a lot of it has to do with, like, Ronnie said yesterday that he feels as though the industry changed, the craft changed when it went from, flash on the walls to the custom work. And he said that, no shade to anybody that did it, Cliff Raven and, Ed Hardy and anybody like that. He said, but when it got to the point where, you know, you weren't picking something off the wall, it turned into this different animal. And then Ronnie actually said, and I don't know if this is necessarily like, pertains to like the central part of America or out west or anything like that, but because Ronnie's an East Coast guy. He said to him, he said that the industry changed, the money that people were spending on tattoos changed after 9/11.
Makes sense.
I don't know what he's saying. I don't know where his equation or how he equates that time frame to that or whatever. But
Because he's a New York guy,
he's a New York guy, but
right? And what immediately happened after 9/11?
everything kind of shut down.
Well, as far as tattooing, firemen, cops, and
Mm,
EMTs
mm,
all started getting like really heartfelt, beautiful tattoo work. Can you imagine a cop having sleeves when we were kids?
no,
They do now.
no. But to me, man, I think that that has a lot to do with the military thing because the majority of police officers now,
Come on,
uh,
EMPs.
yeah, yeah, they used to be, military guys that, come back to society and they get police officer jobs. So when the military, got eased up on some of the rules that they had with tattooing, that it also ultimately impacted corporate America as well. Because now there's incentives for them to get um, to hire veterans, right? It's part of that whole trying to change the culture in corporate America, where they want to hire, and rightfully so, dude. Honestly, in my book, man, like vets should get first dibs at a lot of stuff. So, hey, that might be the best person for the job, and he's a veteran. Well, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to take the tattoos as well.
So I had a friend of mine who was a recruiter for the Navy, and what he said is that the tattoo regs were I know I've said this to you before. They were like they were used as a recruitment tool. Kid goes into an army recruiter, he's got a tattoo on his hand. Army recruiter says, "Hey man, I really you really qualify. Everything's good, but you can't be tattooed on your hand. We can't take you." But the Marines can,
Mm,
right? When then a couple years later, same thing happens, except the kid goes into the Marines. And the Marines are like, "We can't take you, but the Army can." So Corey told me that that was one of the ways that they, um, I'm thinking about rawhide. Corralled? Corralled, you know what I mean? What do you do with,
like herding cattle?
herds? Yeah. You corral them, right? Or
Yeah.
you,
I don't know where you're going with this, so
what do you call it? You move them over the plains.
okay.
Yeah, that's what they do with people in the military
I wouldn't doubt it.
when it comes to tattooing.
Fat Cracker said New York cops have way more tattoos than in LA. I would assume. Gibby from Conquest said it changed with internet access as well. Google and Pinterest came in, and a lot changed. It's a generational thing, I think.
You know what would be awesome? I don't mean to be off topic, but it would have been really cool if you were able to play the rawhide clip from the Blues Brothers right then.
Bill O'Connell, thank you, sir, for the $10 super chat. Dude, there you go. Donation in memory of Jack.
Awesome.
There you go, man. Um,
I don't think that there's anything wrong with elevating the art, right? There's nothing wrong with because we talk about it, you and I, like why is a Sailor Jerry eagle? Why does it have that quality that a lot of other artists don't have with their eagles?
right.
There's just nuances to it and subtleties to it that, so there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with, you know, what Jack and Don did by elevating the art, but I really think it's corporate involvement.
Well, corporate has their hands in it a lot. Um, I don't know. Um, I don't know how much or percentage of it is or whatever, because there's certain companies that you and I talked about that, we thought that there was a possibility of that, but who knows, man. Um, Gibby also said we still customized designs before the internet blew up, adding and removing things by hand. Yeah. And then Scott said this is an abrasion An abrasion is equal to a second-degree burn, having 35 to 45% of your body uh, abraded. That's some serious trauma. And then he said, that's just scientific tattoo smarts. Your skin says when it's had enough. It's called staying in your body. By the way, tattoos are a naval tradition. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Scott said, I had so many waivers in 1988 to join the Corps as a tattooed lad. I didn't realize that was odd until recently. Yeah. Looks like we lost a bunch of viewers. Like they dropped. I don't know what happened. I don't know if
I started talking.
no, man, it was just weird. Like it was like somebody hit a switch, but whatever. We'll keep going. This is all in one lifetime. We were young in America. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I hope they kind of do something cool for Jack over the next couple months, whether it's um you know, like they had that big thing for Bob Roberts when he passed. Obviously, nothing that we would be invited to or whatever, but it's I think that it would be cool to honor him in some way like that.
I maybe Gibby or Fat Cracker or one of the guys knows.
Scott's
Scott.
he's been around a long time.
So there's a day in the year called Red Sox Day because Tuttle wore red socks.
Okay.
So I don't know whether it's his birthday or whether it's the anniversary of his death. Maybe one of those guys would know. But yeah, you wear red socks to the shop that day to sort of commemorate Tuttle.
Fat You're a trip, dude. Fat Cracker said the Japanese and Polynesians were doing custom work way before these Johnny come lately tattooers in New York City back in the day, Bowery boys. Yeah, you're true. That's true. You know, yeah. I started actually because he just brought it up, man. I started digging into the Matt Lauder book. And he starts off with some of that stuff with the Polynesian and the Japanese and stuff like that. Uh, he makes a point of being like, "Hey, look, we're not going to get into a lot of detail about that. We're going to talk about from 1800s forward." But he did give props and whatnot to the hundreds and thousands of years of prior tattooing. So I think that that's something I'd like to dig into one day too. I actually just found a really cool article about some museum where they found by accident these mummies that had been in the museum for a while. They hit them with this like red laser beam, and they found all these intricate tattoos on them. And I might actually do a episode on that. I couldn't do anything this week because I didn't have internet from Wednesday until today. No internet, no TV, dude. It was
Verizon,
like
bro.
living in the goddamn Waltons, dude.
20
I had
degrees
to
outside.
read a book. And then I got keen 2 nights ago and figured I could do a hotspot jump off of my phone, and I could at least put my laptop on my TV and try to watch some kind of YouTube or something. All right. So I was just making sure I didn't get any messages because
So
sometimes RC hits me up during these, but he's probably watching the Eagles celebration.
so there's a lot of, I mean, obviously Samoan tattooing is like super beautiful, but in a lot of the books that I've looked into that I own, I might mispronounce this, the Tongan,
Mm-hmm.
the Tongans.
Tongan from
Yeah,
the island of Tonga.
yeah, they were tattooed,
Yeah.
like way more blockier. The patterns were blockier, but they were tattooed. And the crazy thing is, like the Maori, when they got tattooed, they got cut. They didn't tap. So they would cut their faces
And then just rub
and
the
then rub the soot into the cuts. That's
yeah,
incredible, dude.
yeah.
That's incredible.
Matt actually talked about that. That was part of the stuff that he touched on at the beginning. I don't remember the group or whatever that he mentioned, but he was saying that like scratched or pricked. It wasn't like a needle or a tap. It was
It was cut.
you know, like with a rock or whatnot. And then they would just
Mm.
take dirt, coal dust or something like that and rub it in. Um
You ever see anything on the internet about the mongrel mob in New Zealand?
mm-mm.
It's like a Maori biker gang. There's the mongrel mob, and then there's Black Power. Those are like the two Maori biker gangs, and
But they call them bikies.
bikies. And from what I've read, right, they get their mokos done.
They're clubs, by the way, not gangs. Go ahead.
Well, they're Maori.
Doesn't matter.
We have clubs. We're American. No, they're
They're
clubs. They're clubs. But to get out of the club, to get out of the mongrel mob, you lose an eye.
Hmm.
They take an eye.
That's commitment.
Yeah.
Okay. Fat Cracker said, "Love the mongrel mob."
I wish that there was more. There's a couple good articles, a couple good photo. There's a couple good photo journalist articles about the mongrel mob that are done really, really well. But I wish there was uh, more material.
So we got Salad Z came into chat. Welcome to the show, man, or
Salad.
woman. First time here, and I just put their stuff up on the screen. They wrote, "Rest in peace from Donovan's Black Label Tattoo. Without Jack, we might not be here."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. There's a lot of people out there right now that are working, whether they're famous or just a regular guy working at a street shop right now that owe their career and whatnot to Jack. And there's I don't it's I can't emphasize it enough, and I don't know of any other way to emphasize it, but there's just certain people that came through this craft that changed it for the better and moved it forward, moved that needle a little bit further forward.
Absolutely.
And there's some people or might have different opinions on different artists or whatever that did move the needle and whatnot, but there's a lot of people out there that think that Jack was one of the goats. um you know
And I mean, and I personally, I mean, I'm not speaking of Jack Rudy in particular, but like, I don't have to agree with or fall in line with an artist's political or societal views
right.
to be like, that's really good art.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, I don't think that I don't think that Jerry would take a look at me and be like, "You're our boy."
Yeah. Nah, man, look, I roll through life just like you know, on a regular day. Whatever you're doing in your bedroom or whoever you vote for or whatever your thing is, that's your business, dude. As long as you are respectful to me, I'll give you respect back, dude. And all that other shit is nonsense, dude. Uh, you know, unless you're, like a true scumbag, uh
Yeah,
chomo or whatever, you know what I mean? Like those are the dudes that you're like, there's no room on this earth for you, bro. You don't get to breathe that air. I'm sorry. But for everybody else,
live and let live.
dude, none of that should even get brought into the conversation of tattooing, because there's all kinds of people out there tattooing right now that have different opinions, beliefs, and whatnot. And it is what it is. So, um, You know, I'm sure there's people out there that maybe didn't get along with Jack, but they still respected the fact that he was an amazing tattoo artist, and he brought tattooing to a different level. So hopefully we covered it enough for you guys. We had some cool personal stories. Anybody that's watches this later or whatever, if you have a cool story about Jack Rudy that you want to throw in the comments, please do. We do read all our comments. So
Buck speaking in the royal we.
Yeah.
Buck reads all the comments.
You know, I definitely do. And I'd love to hear them. I love to always hear stories about, you know, getting tattoos or having a cool story about a tattoo artist. So if you got anything, throw it in our comment section, please.
Did anybody
I want to
chime in
definitely
about the
read it.
Red Sox?
It's not that season, dude.
Crackerton?
Oh, the Red Sox. No.
Huh. Yeah, the Red Sox. The
Fat Cracker said love the Tomoko.
Yeah.
But thank you all for hanging out with us tonight, like we do every Sunday at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Check out our other videos on our channel, and if you like them, maybe you'll subscribe. And if you like them really, really good, join us. Join our channel. Support the cause. I hope you all have a happy, safe week, and we'll catch you all next Sunday.
Everybody be safe.
Be safe. Oh, wait. Happy birthday, Sarah. I missed it last week. You said it as we were ending.
I didn't miss it.
I missed it. Happy birthday, Sarah. I'm sorry. I apologize. Peace.